Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Origins. Today we're looking at Tirtouga and Carracosta, some fossil Pokemon that were introduced in Generation 5. So let's get going. Tirtouga's Japanese name is actually Tirtouga, so similar but actually still a bit different. It is the Proto-Turtle Pokemon and number 564 in the National Dex. It stands at 0.7 meters or 2 foot 4 inches and weighs 16.5 kilograms or 36.4 pounds. Tirtouga is a water rock type, and Tirtouga and Carracosta are the only fossil Pokemon to have rock as their secondary type, which is interesting really. So, looking at Tirtouga now, it resembles a baby leatherback sea turtle, and its body is blue with black spots on the edge of its flippers. It has a black shell with 6 circular indentations in it. It also has a black upper beak and a mask that covers most of its head. It also has a light blue patch underneath its eyes. Tirtouga appears to be based on a baby sea turtle, more specifically a leatherback turtle. It may also be based on the Protostega, a large, prehistoric sea turtle. There are no gender differences between Tirtouga, and also Tirtouga's shiny form is a light blue cyan body colour thing and has slightly darker shell and mask and spots. Pokédex entries also tell us that Tirtouga lived about 100 million years ago and that they can also swim and dive to depths beyond half a mile. The Japanese name Tirtouga may be a combination of Protostega, as I've just mentioned the extinct turtle species that it may be based on, and Tortuga, which is an island in the Caribbean which is related to turtles, as we'll find out later on. Tirtouga may then be a corruption of Tortuga, which is Spanish for turtle, tur having a similar phonetic pronunciation to the tur in turtle, so turtle sort of thing, or derived from Tortuga, which is translated as Turtle Island in French and Spanish. It may also be a corruption of Tartaruga, which is Italian and Portuguese for tortoise, seeing as turtles and tortoises are fairly closely related. Then looking at its sprites from Generation 5, we can see there's not really much to look at here really. There's no change between the two games or two sets of games in Generation 5, and all Tirtouga really does is swim around or float around in the air, not doing a whole lot. The back sprite, you can see the shell pretty much in its full glory, and also its little stubby tail at the bottom there. Finally looking at size, standing at 0.7 meters or 2 foot 4 inches, Tirtouga is fairly small, but actually it could be large if you take the 0.7 meters, that mean the actual height of the image. However, it's sort of the length of Tirtouga, not its height, so that's why it doesn't look quite as tall as you'd expect it to be at 0.7 meters. It's just the length really. Then if we move on to Carracosta, Tirtouga's evolution, its Japanese name is Abagura, which is, different to Carracosta, obviously. It is also the Proto-Turtle Pokemon, and number 565 in the National Dex. It stands at 1.2 meters or 3 foot 11 inches, and weighs 81 kilograms or 178.6 pounds. Like Tirtouga, it is a water rock type, again having water as its primary type, and a Tirtouga will evolve into a Carracosta starting at level 37, so not really a round number there, but a number nonetheless. So, Carracosta resembles a bipedal blue-coloured sea turtle with a pale blue stomach and deep blue rocky structures encrusting its face, back and sides of its chest, which form a kind of mask and shell. Its flippers are long with black finger-like protrusions at the tips, and it has a thick tail and short legs with two-toed feet. Similarly to Tirtouga, Carracosta appears to draw inspiration from an extinct turtle species. However, this one is Archelon, the largest known species of sea turtle from the late Cretaceous period. The fact that it eats steel beams draws from the fact that sea turtles are able to bend metal bars with their jaws, being very powerful. Like Tirtouga, there are no differences between male and female Carracosta, and shiny Carracosta are actually quite different to the normal Carracosta, with the main body colour being a more dull, darker blue, and the shell and rocky structures being a very deep black blue colour, almost deep black exactly, but sort of grey blue. Pokédex entries tell us that Carracosta can actually chew up steel beams, as we've been mentioned earlier with the sort of relation to turtles, and also that it can knock out and make a hole in the bottom of a tanker with a single snap from one of its arm things, so it's a very powerful Pokemon. The Japanese name Abagura may be a combination of abareru, which means to thrash or act violently, abara, meaning ribcage, which references its rocky structures, and kora, shell, again referencing sort of the shell that's on its back, and obviously it's based on a turtle, so shell comes into play there. The name Carracosta, however, may be a combination of carapace, which is a hard protective covering, for example a shell, and costa, which is Latin, Spanish and Portuguese for coast, which is a reference to its habitat, as Carracosta can both live in the sea and on land. Carra may also refer to the Carrara fossil formation, which contains numerous trilobite fossils. Then if we look at Carracosta's sprite in Generation 5, we can see it's a very simple sprite. He simply just stood there, his arms sort of laying down, and obviously he moves them about a bit because of the animation, but there's not a whole lot. The back sprite in this case is, as you'd expect, the shell takes up the majority of the back sprite there, but you can still see its head and its arms, and even its little tail that points at the back. Finally then, looking at size, Carracosta is actually much smaller than I imagined, standing at only 1.2 meters or 3 foot 11 inches, which means it's not even as tall as Ash really, which is really quite strange because it does look very small on the comparison. I imagined it would be a bit bigger, at least the size of Ash I would have guessed, but it's actually quite a small Pokemon if you look at it really. So guys, that's it for today's episode of Pokemon Origins. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please, I'd appreciate it if you leave a like and a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. Goodbye guys.